Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back to Live from Bernica Park, filmed right here at the Chelsea Bistro. So the producer's giving me some sort of warning here. What is it now? What? I'm feeling very tired today. I don't know if anybody's feeling tired. Is it the change in weather? But I woke up this morning exhausted. Now, I'm not really sure if the alcohol from last night had anything to do with it, or I just felt a bit tired this morning. But you know what? You know, I like to have my morning routine. I like to go into the bathroom and start staring at myself and think, what's wrong? Well, this morning about 10 o'clock, I noticed I had this pain. It's still here actually. If I, it's there, it's just there. Is there a kind of lower ear doctor in here that would know what this is? No, anyway, I've got this pain here. So I do what everybody in England does when they've got a pain. Google. And this is where you start to terrify yourself. Because don't do it. If you don't do it in this country, don't do it. But I sort of got to Google and I went, pain in the lower ear. Are you kidding me? I mean, at first you think, what's the big deal? I've got a pain in my ear. Then you start reading, you go, man found dead after pain in man ear falling off with gangrene, starting with pain in the ear. I mean, who wants to go through this stress? Because we are now doctors, aren't we? We can diagnose ourselves. We know what's wrong. So I know from what I read this morning, I'm going to die from a pain in my ear. And I'm not feeling very happy. And I'm tired. And on top of that, yeah, sometimes in the morning, I like to go downstairs to the gym and train. So this morning, I went down there and I thought, what am I doing this for? Are we all doing it because we want to look like a burra, like a man? Is that why we do it? Because if it is, I am confused. And I'll tell you why I'm confused. When I speak to a girl, which isn't very often, they don't talk to me, they're scared of the stupid stuff I'll come out with. But when I speak to a girl, I say, so what are you looking for in a man? And be honest with me. Well, we want a kind of man that's loving, attentive, caring, generous, home builder. Okay. And can I ask you a question? First of all, does age make any difference? No. Okay, that's age done. Do looks make any difference? No. No, looks make any difference. So age and looks don't make any difference. What about money? Well, you know, yes. So put a Y down because money makes a big difference. So, what I'm getting from this, if you really want to get a really gorgeous girl, forget about how you look, okay? Forget if you're a tough guy or anything. They don't care about that, by the way. You can go to the gym and you can be a burra and checking yourself in the mirror and doing all this stuff. And the girls, I love the girls, they're like this. The girls always the same, like this. That's what the girls are like. But the men, we take it seriously. So we've got somebody in now. Get out, quickly get her out, I'm not ready yet. So anyway, the point of this is, so if you're chasing a beautiful girl, don't worry about the muscles. Don't worry about how tanned you are. Just make sure you can put your hand in your pocket, get it out with money quickly, okay? That's what you need to do. Now, hang on, one moment please. Chelsea Bistro, how can I help you? You'd like a table for one. Another sad person on their own. Name please, one moment please. Hang on, let me write it down. Jeta Xharra's coming in for dinner. Yes!
Hello.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Thank God you're here. Go back. Have a seat. All right, relax now. You'll get your chance. First of all,
Hi.
I know you're thirsty. Can I offer you a drink? Are you cold?
No,
If you want to sit
love
here.
the idea of the fire behind you.
My arse is on fire here. Do you know that?
Okay.
I'm absolutely boiling, and I've got a shirt on for you and a shirt and tie.
And I'm on fire as you
You
can
look
see.
gorgeous.
It's the color of fire. I didn't know you have a fire, but
You've been here before, though.
But I didn't know
You didn't notice it.
can't remember you had the fire on.
Yeah, but
it's
with
beautiful.
your journalistic approach, you're supposed to clock everything.
But you were playing us that evening.
I was.
Cards
Hey,
and so.
you
So
were
I was
playing me.
busy with the mind games.
You
did on us.
actually got
Do you
quite
remember?
political. Oh yeah, you got quite political on me.
Did I?
Well, yeah, being a Jew.
Well, that
it's-
never
that
happens.
never
Me
occurred to you.
getting political on
Hang on,
anyone.
let's get you a drink. What would you like? We
I'll
have-
go for water because
Oh, come on.
I'll just start off. I'm thirsty,
Start,
and
okay.
then
So we start
and
with the
then
water.
it's up to you
Oi
actually.
pagas, oi megas.
Pagas.
Pagas.
Faleminderit.
Certainly, certainly. You are a drinker, though, aren't you? You do drink.
I do. It's
I
just
seem to
been
remember you
working,
drinking.
Not while working. So
No,
tell me
never
what
while
this
working.
is.
Well-
Should I experience this as fun or work?
This is not working, I assure you.
But you played mind games last time I was here.
Did I?
Card mind games, yes.
Did I do a card trick
So
on you?
you want someone's mind focused. If you give me alcohol, I don't guarantee my mind is
Get the
fully
whiskey out.
focused.
We don't want anything. Did I do a card trick on you last
Yes,
time?
yes, you did.
Were you impressed?
You did a card trick on 10 of us. We were there.
Did
And
you hear
he-
that?
he-
A card trick. Were you
Yes.
impressed, really?
Yes.
Do you remember it?
You know what? I was impressed with everybody else who got you, and majority, 90% of us didn't
What do you mean they didn't?
get it. Meaning that we couldn't find the card that you showed us.
You mean my
that-
trick went
that
wrong?
day. No, your trick went
Worked,
right.
but-
worked. I wasn't one of the most intelligent ones around the
Oh,
table.
did you
That's
not-
all I remember that.
Are we allowed to say gazur or we're not?
Of course.
Hurry up and
Say
drink
your
that so we can have a
gzoar.
proper drink. Gazur. Oh.
Gzoar de Juba.
Oh, it's tepid. It's gone warm sitting there. Do you know that?
White wine and warm.
Doesn't go. Do you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a bit closer. Not because it's getting any sexier. It's just that I really am on fire.
I get you.
Feel.
There's
just
no
feel my
chance.
arm.
It's
Just
it-
feel under there. No,
it-
with your hand.
Can
with your
I
hand.
just- It's so rare that
That's-
people want to get closer to me. They actually move their
I don't-
table
no,
when they
bring it
meet
back.
me.
Bring it back. Do you
So
know,
I'm really pleased when somebody is
It's-
not scared of me.
it's a very slinky outfit. You know what I mean by slinky?
Slinky.
Yeah, it's like figure hugging.
Is it? Okay,
Ooh,
it's
do
for
you know
you.
what? Is that okay? Am I politically incorrect by saying that?
No,
Have I said
it's
the wrong
okay.
thing? Are you allowed to say that in this country?
Depends from who you're talking to. So it's okay if you express yourself.
But England and America, I don't think you can. I mean, you know more about this than I do. But you know how woke we're becoming and how terrified everybody's becoming about saying anything. So what I've just said then, it's acceptable
I
here.
know, but being woke in
'Cause
Kosovo
it's a
is
compliment.
actually, I mean, you're aware of, you said it and you were aware that this may be problematic. In Kosovo, actually, it's useful. All this wokeness will be useful because there's a culture of making the girl feel uncomfortable at work and at places, different places, discussing different places, which mean, when I mean, you know, that's exactly, before I came to your program, I had a program on why women do not feel comfortable at work, in the streets, and are experiencing more, are starting to report on ngasmime seksuale, is
Yeah.
what we
But that,
we
was that
call them.
sexual?
So-
Is it
No,
an
but
insult
I'm-
to say to somebody,
no,
you're looking
I
slinky and-
I liked it that you were aware of it.
But I
so-
recognise it, and I think not to say that is actually an insult, because if a woman dresses up and she's made a real effort, isn't it nice to say something nice, like, you're looking really good? Slinky is a nice word, you know. So where was the passion for, is there a passion for journalism? Because I always believe if somebody's really good at something, and you're the top of your game, I believe if they really love something, or if they want to do something, it's because they love it. So where did this passion for chasing people come? Because that's what you do.
Very
You hound
chasing
them.
people.
We would call you the Queen of Mean in England. Do you
Queen
know
of
that?
Mean.
Do you know that? Do
Oh,
you know that
dear.
expression? The Queen of Mean. That's like, if you're the queen of something, Jeta's quite strong. She's like mean and she goes for them. So we would call you the Queen of Mean. And that would be quite a compliment. Wouldn't be an insult.
Well, I guess linking it with Jakova, where it comes from, I got like, they were very, in Jakova, everybody is very odd. In a way, they need to think how they're sitting, where they're sitting, and how they talk in very immaculate, also in a funny and jokey way. They try to tell you that something is wrong with you, and there's irony and cynicism. Very indirect people.
I like
they
that.
go round and round the circles, and they we call it with kunjas.
Yeah.
They talk with kunja. You have to be really on your feet and smart to understand that way of talking, and they're very fast in how they will throw out things and how you should behave. And one of the first things that I noticed is if you need to. I was rebelling against this indirect way of.
So you didn't like it? You didn't
I
think
didn't
it was
like
amusing?
it at all.
Did people find it funny generally in Jacoba, or
No,
was it just you?
no,
that you
no.
didn't like
And then one of the things that I thought, how can I disturb this mess? I remember that one of the key conversations with us, I had 3 uncles, with my dad 4. There were 4 sons. And whenever we would gather in gatherings, we spent weekends in Jakova, you had to watch Albanian TV because it was illegal, and only in Jakova you could get
during communism?
Yes, you could get
Wow.
radio television of Albania. They would sit
Yeah.
us and watch how to speak properly, watch these programs, and occasionally there would be educational talks in this big oda where we would sit. And largely, if it was all these 4 brothers had about in total 5 girls, which I enjoyed a lot. There were
I'd enjoy that.
but we were always like being talked to in some way of how to watch, how we marry, who we go out with, how we behave with generally boys. When we started growing up, the talk was about what you watch and what there is out there,
How
the
did you
scary
behave?
things.
How did you behave with boys?
Well, first I decided I'm going to tell them that I'm never going to marry.
Does that put them off? Because
It
what you
did,
just
it
described,
did.
it's not actually different to Pristina, really.
No,
is
no,
it?
it's generally
That culture is
Kosovo,
really,
yes.
it's an Albanian.
So like these conversations of not getting tricked and being careful who and how we choose, and basically what our dads wanted approval of our bloody partners and boyfriends, and they wanted to control what we do largely. And I said, okay, if I start telling them that I don't want to get it was so funny. They all made a joke about, okay, this girl, we're going to catch her because she's going to get married one day. Everybody record this moment.
No.
She's going to get married, and we want to record it, to record the moment she's promising us not to get married. To this day, Alan, I'm not married.
But you are married.
I am not. I decided
Are you living
not
in sin
to.
here?
I am.
So
in a
Alex,
sense that
I
it was
thought
out
Alex
of,
was your husband.
but since '97 I'm together with Alex. Why do you have to marry a
I
man
agree.
you love? Can't you just love him?
Can we have a
Can
round
we
of
just
applause
love
for that, please? I could not agree
I have
more.
2 children with him, and it's wonderful. And I try to avoid romanticism in general and sentimentality.
Really?
But
We are very alike. It's horrible.
But life happens, and some of the
Yeah.
stories I decided to share with you tonight have to do with how romantic everything became, though we decided we're not going to do any of these romantic
But hang
stuff.
on, do you think, is marriage, is it really romantic? Because I actually don't think it, I think it kills it.
It says that you've got to stay with someone even though you might not want to stay with someone. So I don't want that. I want the freedom of having to like a person, love a person without having to be legally binded to a person. I thought
I agree 100%.
precisely.
But don't you think, one of the problems with the I don't know how we get onto relationships on every show. We somehow kind of gravitate. But, we all know that first 3 months, 6 months is the honeymoon period. And it's great fun. If we could bottle that up and keep that forever, for me it would be great. But I mean, have you still got that? Is there still the excitement? You still bring it into the relationship because you're not married.
So is the flame still there? If you're asking, it's different.
Yeah,
But I love the idea that we are still checking each other out. We haven't yet, after 2 kids, we haven't yet decided.
Really?
And we're checking each other out whether we want to continue for the rest of our lives
Did you discuss
together.
that? You actually sit down?
It's a constant, it's a constant conversation with us. And even we often talk about, if we had a wedding, what sort of wedding would that be? He likes the traditional narrative of, how, in our tradition, I don't know, Alan, if you know, we stage a kind of kidnapping of the bride.
Yes,
the bride
I know.
needs to be kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm supposed to kind of be crying because I'm leaving my father's nest and all that game,
have
and
to
then
be
I
kidnapped
go
if
there
I was gonna
and I
marry her.
look, the bride needs to look sad throughout, put her head down and stay like this, keep her back straight, and pretend.
man do?
The
Is he
man
looking tough and stuff?
comes with all the horses, supposedly,
And the guns
all the
and-
cars,
yeah.
and comes to the house
Yeah.
and steals the girl away. That's the ceremony of it. And he thinks, Alex said, if we ever do it, I want a paintball wedding. He wants my family to shoot at his family in some paintball space like the Chelsea Point, for example. It has to be countryside.
I love that.
And see whoever wins the game kidnaps the other, because kidnapping has to be in the ceremony of marriage. It's not supposed to be fun. By ceremony, you're supposed to kind of be happy and stay with your family, and whoever comes to
Are you
get
supposed to
you
look happy as well, or you're not?
No.
Is the idea that?
serious.
Oh, really?
Stern.
And what are your parents
take-
doing? Oh, don't bring her back either. Take her.
Oh, well, I guess in many ways parents give away the dowry.
Do you still have that?
Yeah.
Never.
Women
Are you
collect
kidding?
diaries.
You
Dowries.
see what I was saying to you before? Forget the muscles. It's all
Yeah.
about the money.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
getting a dowry, and that's serious.
I mean, it's serious, but
I
kind
didn't
of
know that.
today it's very ceremonial. Mothers spend decades working for that dowry, little by little, creating. I don't know
And it still goes on?
It's a good question whether it still exists. I kind of haven't followed marriage in
You and me
the
should go
last
and
20
investigate
years.
it. Yeah, well, you're not
But-
married, so
but,
you don't need to follow it.
This is all part of the idea and the ceremony, which we have skipped
So
in the
you
meantime.
got kidnapped. So you went. But no,
So-
not
so-
you,
so-
because
so-
you
so.
didn't get married.
No.
Sorry.
How
If
did you know? That's precisely the story I decided to share with you tonight.
I love this.
I got kidnapped. I did actually get kidnapped.
It
You
doesn't surprise
asked
me. You know, it doesn't surprise me.
You asked me to think of funny
Yeah,
stories.
Yeah. Is this funny? The kidnapping.
It is funny.
Fire away.
It is funny because things that happen are tragicomic
Yeah.
throughout it, but has to do with romance.
So go on,
actually.
come on.
Okay, go on. So
yes.
Alex,
talk to yourself.
Alex, my boyfriend, was
Yeah.
a human rights researcher working in Georgia, former Soviet Union, Georgia.
Yeah.
One of the biggest human rights abuses there were violent Orthodox priests and gangs attacking religious sects. And he was doing human rights interviews.
Yeah.
I went to visit him in Georgia. From Tbilisi, we started a journey to go to Turkey. Georgia is in the border with Turkey. And as in the east, as we were traveling, he was like, okay, I'll stop in a town not far from Turkey, Senaki, to do an interview with a family of Jehovah's Witnesses who had been persecuted.
God.
Me with a driver, he was inside with a translator. I was outside with his driver, waiting for them to finish the interview. Two men with cowboy handkerchiefs around their face, guns that were this big in a sense of like Ottoman-looking,
Old things, you
engraved,
mean?
very
Like a
old
pistol?
guns. Yes.
Oh, this is not good.
19th century
I don't like where
pistols.
this is going.
They came in the car, put a gun into my head, and one got into the front seat, drove away to a mountain, crazy as hell. Drove
Hang on,
over
you live.
about 200.
How does it feel when somebody sticks and points a gun at your head?
So-
That must be terrifying.
In this case, the driving was more terrifying than the gun.
Oh, really?
I thought
'Cause,
the
yeah.
gun is going to accidentally shoot because of
No.
the bumps that he was driving
Oh.
180 an hour through village roads, rivers. Like he passed little river beams and stuff. Anyway, we until we came to a forest, I thought we're going to die just by
Did you
the
not
accident.
say anything or speak to anybody? Or was
I
it in a
did.
language?
We passed through police checkpoints. I made a sign. to show, I thought that, look, this is not like we are getting kidnapped, but it looked like they had a deal with police.
Yeah,
and
of
at
course.
that time,
Come on, white English
did.
woman in the middle of Turkey, in a mountain with
I'm
a gun.
not an English woman.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
even worse. I'm an Albanian
Western,
woman.
yeah, I know,
They-
but-
you know, maybe. Anyway, it ended up quite an ordeal, but it was in the end. It was negotiated. We came to the mountain. They called Alex and said, "You know what we want? You know what we want?" He said, "Well, you better tell me what you want. Money." And okay, so how we got the money together? In a nutshell, Alan, I cost it less than a cow to bring back. It was very little. My frustration was, until that time.
It was less than a cow.
Yes, less than a cow.
No.
Less than something like a $700 or so was paid for me to get back by the end of the sunset. Because when we came to the mountain,
dogs cost more than that.
I know.
You can buy a dog
I
for
know.
5,000.
My biggest worry became the fact that when I found myself in the middle of mountain with men with guns and a driver was translating for me, I started thinking, what's going to happen to Alex? My worst fear was that Alex has to go to my Jakovar dad in Kosovo and tell him, hello, meet, probably for the first time as my boyfriend, and say, your only daughter? I just got her kidnapped. I thought he was in more danger than I was in the middle of this mountain with three men.
Do you know
My
that-
dad is quite stern, quite disciplined. Like I said, Jakovar, who
Yeah.
thinks, first of all, his son-in-law should have been Jakovar.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah,
of
of
all,
course. And from a part of Jakovar,
yes, not from a village.
Yeah.
Alex was a peasant,
Yeah.
a British peasant,
Yeah.
but still from a village. He owned half a goat in the past. Yes. He
Alex is very educated. I know. I've
I
spoken to Alex.
know, but
So your dad.
but let's talk about these values that
reality.
they push.
Yeah.
What I told you, the initial, how these dads think of how they choose and approve the future son-in-law. Moreover, third is he's 14 years older than me. I mean, he's got no pluses, this man.
14, that's not much.
I know.
It's
but
not a lot. Is it 14 years
enjoyed.
older? Is that much?
I enjoyed the experience, but you know, my dad would not share my values.
No.
You see, and I thought, when just the thought of that meeting, Alan, kept my brain to the best of its ability how to negotiate with these guys in the mountain, so that my poor Alex wouldn't have to face my dad alone. You know.
One moment, can I need to address your children, because I've been watching this. Children, I'm just going to let you know, your mother loves your father. Wife, husband, whatever it is, that's love. To be more worried about Alex.
Well,
because your father would have
I
probably chinned him.
Well,
You know?
he is quite, let's say, stern, and
Your father.
tolerance is not his best point.
Not his best virtue.
Yes, best
Oh, dear.
virtue. So that didn't happen. Anyway, good motivation. Alex negotiates from one end with them on the phone, trying to see how he can meet the demands. On the other end, I start negotiating with them with all the skills I had learned in all these. We used to be student protesters in Kosovo, and we used to have training how to negotiate with the other side that is violent and this and that. And they always told us one lesson in those trainings was, you try and find something common with your enemy.
Yeah.
And I started asking these guys, what's the problem? Why have you kidnapped me? Well, we think you're Jehovah, they said. And
You're what?
Jehovah's Witness. Because they had kidnapped us with the thought that we are part
Because
of
you're
this
against
sect.
Jehovah's
this
Witnesses
sect.
against God or something.
No,
I don't know what their
against
deal
these,
is.
These were very, very orthodox Christian men
Christians,
with crosses,
Yeah,
tattoos around them, and very religiously extreme Orthodox people who thought any other Christian sects
Should be dead.
should be attacked.
Annihilated.
So you were sitting in front of their house, therefore you're part of them. Alex was investigating the human rights abuses they were having. So anyway, I started saying, well, let's talk. And I said, first of all, I said these famous words that we got in this training, which is, I understand why you're like this. If I was brought up in this mountain with parents that are uneducated, with no money, I'd become a bandit myself. I understand
believe
why
she's
you
attacking
had to
them.
rebel.
She's on the warpath with them.
Yes. So, and actually, and they were like, really? You understand us?
Wow.
We started, then he said, okay, what do you have? We want money. What we had along were these liras, Turkish money.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Turkish money, Alan, there's a lot of zeros.
Oh, yeah.
In liras.
And you can buy a bar
But
of chocolate.
these were men who, like, you could see were very primitive, living off, like, in very poor circumstances.
course.
From the gun, you could see they didn't have
Yeah.
a lot of money. So when we showed the little bit, I started giving them a little bit of liras that I had collected still left from
Can I
last
ask you,
trip.
did you actually feel a bit sorry for them?
Well,
Could you actually empathise with them?
well, you do.
Because
in the
you're a
beginning.
journalist and you'll see both sides.
Eventually, when you sit there,
Yeah.
and they were not driving like mad,
Yeah.
adrenaline was down,
And you can talk.
You could talk. Anything, I think. First, you start thinking, if you're a journalist, anything can be resolved
Yeah.
with a talk or a conversation. Or at least you get trained to hear the other side. You are in touch. Like during the war in Kosovo in 98, 99, we were constantly having to negotiate our way through
Yeah.
checkpoints, drunken Serbian paramilitaries with
Yeah.
lots of these crosses and tattoos.
Scary.
So for me, mindset was prepared to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I understand you. Let's talk about how you are in a situation you are. You're brought up in the way you are. Circumstances made you a bandit. Here I am. Before sunset goes down, I have a situation in my home. By situation,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
been
talking
there.
to myself.
Yeah.
That by the end of this sunset, because we were talking a little bit with astronomy there, not knowing where we are, by the end of a sunset, I can cooperate with you to give you what we have. My husband can give you what we have. I called him my husband in order, hoping that that is kind of going to help them. And he said, husband, where's your gold? We want your gold.
no.
I want to see your gold. And then it's like, sorry, I'm not married. Then I was changing my story all the time. I'm not
But
married
you're digging
yet.
yourself in now because they'll think, why isn't she married?
Yes. Why isn't she? I'm on my way. I'm engaged. Then I got into this. I'm engaged. Why? Because brides with married, you had more gold according to their tradition.
Wow.
Like with ours. Where's the gold?
That's incredible
Give
how
us
they
the
have
gold.
such a different mindset. And they think that mindset belongs to your culture.
So-
But I have to ask you, one thing's making me a bit sad. The 700.
I know.
I'm thinking, is
In
that
the
all
end.
Jeta's worth?
I know.
7 rotten.
I know.
They've transferred
I know.
footballers for 100 million.
Today, that's my biggest frustration. Why I cost so little. That is my value. In many ways, it's a result of our good negotiation of Alex's on the phone
Brilliant
and
negotiating.
mine. Yeah, brilliant. But then, you bring your value down. Because all the time I was telling them, I'm not worth a lot. First of all, I'm not Jehovah. I'm
Yeah.
not from a sect.
Yeah.
Second, I haven't got gold. Third, here's these liras. And they said, liras, lots of money. Okay, we got, they thought it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We got a deal where in the end they drove us back.
Hang on, how much did they start at? Because you know something?
Yeah,
I
good
think Alex
question.
overpaid. Not because
Really, Alan?
No, he could have,
Really?
he might have been able to get
Really?
it for 300.
Guess what we found out, because not me, but Alex went back to exactly the same place
They would have taken 200.
in October. No. So he goes back in
Yeah.
October 2021,
Yeah.
recently now, finds the family for the first time. So kidnapping happened in 2022.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it
2000
happened 2002. He goes
Yeah.
back at 2021.
No.
So the kidnapping lasted from morning till evening. That's it. It
Yeah.
got finished. We got exchange of goods, whatever we had. I was turned back. He goes back to the family in which we were in front of now in October 2021, and finds out the guy
He found
who
the family that kidnapped
Yes, yeah. No, the family in front of whose house, the house he was interviewing, the Jehovah's Witnesses who used to live there, and the sect or the religious group, and they told him the story how the guy who kidnapped me killed himself 2 weeks after my. How did that happen? He got drunk, drove through a bridge, fell into water, and this is, I wish I knew this before because I knew he was crazy driving. The driving actually resulted in his own harm eventually. So
how did that make you feel though? Really?
There's some justice in the world.
Yeah, justice.
There's some justice in the world.
Were you happy that he'd lost his life, or did you feel, was there a part of you that thought, my kidnapper died? How did you feel though?
Well, there were
it's a bit
3
weird.
kidnappers.
Oh, there were 3.
The worst
Only
one died.
This
The
is
crazy guy.
fascinating though.
The crazy guy died. Not 3.
The driver.
The driver.
But was the driver with the gun like this? Oh,
no, the guy. No, one was driving. His assistant was with the gun.
Do you know, I always think,
behind.
you know, when you're in this situation, I always see these special ops thinking, you'll get these special ops guys and they'll be like that, looking around for you, and they'll shoot 3 of them and then you'll just get taken out.
Less
But it never happens like
than
that.
So, and you'd think they'd plan it well.
No, they don't, do they?
No, but then what happened with people that kidnap at that time in Georgia was they would sell it to some other group, and kidnappees would end up in Chechnya.
Oh, they'd swap them.
They basically, until they get a better price deal.
But you know, this
is why I think Alex was brilliant, and his organization to negotiate. This finishes in a day.
I've got to be honest. I can't help feeling just a little bit sad for the kidnapper. I know what he's done is complete. Oh, look out. Look out. You see, we care about you here. I know that you've been working all day. And I know that you probably didn't eat anything.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we decided to give some fish goons.
But how do we, it's excellent. How do we eat in front of these people?
Oh, don't worry about this lot. Oh, God,
Maybe
don't worry about
working all day.
They're not getting any food. There wasn't enough fish for them. But you and I can have a little nibble. Is that, try these. Oh, bok meer. Oh, the castle.
Dieksa? Une peshotje dieks. Is it hot? Why you give me hot stuff to eat when I have to talk?
I didn't realize it was this hot.
Okay.
But they're nice. It's fresh. Are you hungry, by the way? Yeah, I've got a surprise for you later.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So
that's my story.
My first question, though, was actually about journalism. I want the bit where you become a journalist. When did you decide that this is for you?
I started writing at early age, writing and talking and debating. I became part of many debate clubs. And eventually, it was serious, and I saw how serious it is and how fascinating it is when the BBC crews came to Kosovo in 97, 98, and we started covering the war with them. They just wanted a translator, and I trotted along. They said, let's follow the smoke. We followed the smoke.
Wow.
That was 5th of March, 98, Alan. That was the day when the Battle of Jeta was happening. That was my first day at work. I've told this story so many times.
All right, well, leave that story then.
That's how it started.
I want to know, actually, Hannah, what drove you to chase people? Because that's what you're known for.
Yeah.
And do you know, we spoke many years ago when I first came to Kosovo. And when they told me about you, I thought, how come nobody shot her? And I'm sure you must have had. I mean, have you?
What did you say in the beginning? You're slinky. So I'm great at avoiding.
Actually, I've got to be honest.
But then I'm turning it into my favor, into how I survive.
Managed to.
Yes, and don't forget today the people I work with, who came from UK war correspondents, they're dodging the bullet since then. Yeah. And ended up in Ukraine just recently. I'm watching them all the time now. My colleagues that that reported the war with me in here, people I work with. So there's quite a lot of people who do my job and continue to dodge the bullet. So,
but do you feel like that? Do you feel that any day, actually, I might have pissed somebody off so much they might shoot me? Because the Balkans has got a bit of a history for that. I know, but we don't have this in England. We just go and punch them. Oh, that was awfully rude of you.
Would
we give them a punch. We don't shoot
I'd
them.
rather live a life worth, having done something worthy.
So that's the motivation.
Then actually dodging all the time and sort of existing but not living.
Yeah.
So it's terribly exciting to be able to tell the truth in the end of the day, go to sleep, with the idea that you were able to tell something and inform on something that somebody else had not done, or that you got some truth, bit of truth to the audience. That is much more of an adrenaline than the fear the fear, you feel that
they might shoot me or
they
do
might
something
shoot you.
stupid.
Actually, and so many people, there are so many braver people than me, Alan, in the world right now. If you just watch the coverage on Ukraine war, I feel we do, you know, in Kosovo it's pretty safe compared to how I told you, former Soviet Union countries.
That's insane.
Like Georgia, Chechnya, Syria, Yemen, all these wars, Middle East. To be a journalist in the Middle East, you know, it's not like
dangerous.
Yes. So Kosovo again.
Yeah, but the difference, you might accidentally get shot there, whereas here, somebody might be, you know, again, with them, that's Jeta Xharra, that's it. She's upset me. But do you ever feel you came close to that, or you just didn't care?
Well, that's the closest I felt I came.
What, the kidnappers?
With that guy with a gun into my head. On the other hand, we've had, in peacetime, post-war, we've had people come to the office angry about something we reported with a gun and saying, I came here to account with you over what you said. We, again, sat them down. My colleagues did that for me. I never think of actually dying or getting shot. I'm surrounded with so many smart people.
Yeah.
If you only knew what good colleagues I have, they manage people better than me. They talk to them. They get the right sources. So when you're on the right in a sense of verifying your sources, making sure you're not lying when you publish something, that you verify triple and make sure you've given, what we do most is we give the side that we are attacking, that side of the story always has to have their say, and we make sure we delay the story before publishing just to give that side a say. And when you pick up the phone to talk to that side, which is sometimes the most tedious and difficult thing to do because you've collected so much evidence against them.
And you're certain you've got it right by this point.
Yes, and I'm always fascinated by the new perspective.
Because they always bullshit their way out of it.
Yes, they do.
Whoa.
But nevertheless...
But you're always certain, really, 99% of the time, that you've got it right.
Also, the idea of why this risk of getting killed is not quite real for me. I'm not scared of that. I'm going to tell you, I'm not scared of that. Now? Because I feel I'm just, or we are just, that we do a balanced, just form of journalism, that we're going to check all sides. So when a person who's angry comes in, we sit them down, no matter what they're armed with, and say, let me hear it. We've got room for your response. What is your response? Let me hear your story. And people are actually quite interested to tell their story, Alan.
Yeah,
right now, we have more sources, more whistleblowers than we have journalists. In the beginning of our job, we used to go after whistleblowers, having to convince them to talk. It was difficult, and that nothing's going to happen to them. I'm more worried not about what happens to us, but what happens to the sources who are not on camera all the time, like we are. But in that case, we have more people who want to speak for injustice in Kosovo right now than ever before.
But who are you going at? Is there anybody at the moment? I've got a present for you, by the way. From your
I
favourite...
feel like I've got... What if I'm not after anyone?
Well, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, you would be. But the truth is a bit, you know, sometimes...
You can't find them.
I'm not this Superman who goes around to
understand
get somebody
who's
doing bad.
How many
who
times
kills
can
the
this
cat?
guy get away with it, though? Because you must feel actually quite pissed off sometimes if you've been chasing something and you've revealed their status and their crooks.
It's never the same. Life gets quite difficult for them. It's not the same, Alan.
Oh, does it?
Life does get difficult for them. They get court cases.
Hang on a second, just a minute. Wait a minute. This is a present for you.
Okay.
I've got others.
Are you trying to corrupt me?
Yes. You will find this isn't a brown envelope. This is a whole brown paper bag. This one. Have a look at that.
Let's have a look.
I'm just carrying with it. These fish fins are lovely, Bar. I love these. It's from your favourite person.
Oh, lovely. Hi there.
He sent it to me.
Bravo. Oh, zot.
Hold it up. Look at it. Look at that.
That's a mayor who loves me. Well, they get like this sentimental when they lose, don't they?
Yeah.
Look, he didn't send me this when he was winning.
Exactly.
He lost the election. Now
he?
He loves me.
But let's look at that face. To me, he looks like Sammy the Schnaz Louis the Lip. Nico, Rico, Schmiko from Dico from Louisiana. You know.
Let's look at your Boris Johnson face and hair. Do you want to say your leaders look any better?
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Where's my computer?
Who are you
Who's
talking?
got my computer?
Who are you talking?
Bring my computer, please. Bring it over. Is it working? I've got something to show you.
No matter what I think of Bahtiri, I can't take you, the international, telling me, the local, how our leaders look like. Be that a former mayor.
Hey, listen, do you know what I've got here?
Hi there.
I love this. I found your tax records. Do you
Hi
know
there.
that? Can somebody tell me how to get out of this?
Tax records.
Yeah.
Did Agim Bahtiri give them to you?
No, from the tax office. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Do you want to see them?
I don't. You can tell the people. I don't
Wait a minute. How come I can't get anything on this? Wait a minute.
I want you to be transparent about them.
Oh, yeah, transparent.
Yeah, transparent.
Now, these people can. It says no items in here. How do I get rid of this thing? Have we got an expert in computing it? Because I can't get rid of this thing. Anybody know how to get rid of this? Now we've done it. Now it's going to all be revealed. Now, you ready for this? This is your tax return from last year, and I'm going to show it to the whole audience. But you can see this is downloaded from the tax administrative tax. Can you see that? Yes, look at that.
Jeta Xharra, fëmijë 100.000.
Yes.
Viti 2021, administratat hetimore të Kosovës.
Zero.
Takimi të ardhave personale. Pse po ran, Allan? Pse po ran? Why are you lying?
Stamped.
Uh,
Stamped from the tax office. Look, it says.
Listen, I've cost it a bit more than this.
Really?
Than this
I've got it wrong.
on my. Yeah, I get paid. Alan, I get paid for my job. From
The tax office got it wrong. This is ridiculous. Hang on, I've got something for you. Just talking about prime ministers. I want to see if you recognise all of this. Are you quite well up on European prime ministers? Because this lot can see this. But, well, let's have a look then. Shall we have a look?
Let's have a look.
Right, who's this?
It could be that I'm so involved with my.
We're only recognising them. Do we know who this is?
Adibre.
Okay,
Balkani hopper.
wait, it gets more exciting. Who's that?
Yeah, that's your guy.
We love Boris.
Who looks
Boris.
No, whose hair is better? Let's say hairstyle.
Wait a minute.
Style. Who competes?
Hang on. We have to get the next
vote.
person. Just a minute. Right, who's
A
this?
vote? Who? Well, I think Agim Bahtiri has a better haircut than Boris Johnson.
Just a minute.
Combs his hair a bit more often than Boris Johnson. I think this hairstyle.
He looks like a New York crook.
What does he look like? A British crook.
Like a British crook.
Yeah. So
all right, who's
you
this?
should be an example to us.
Who's this one?
No, I'm not sure.
What do you mean? I know who he is.
I'm not sure.
I better just check.
Well, his Macedonian flag behind him, but I'm not sure who he is because he's not Zaev.
He's very close. I'll give you a clue. He's close by.
He's not. He's close. He's somebody from Macedonia. Okay.
He's the Macedonian Prime Minister.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you'd know this.
Yeah, there you go. You caught me.
There we go. Who's that?
No.
Anybody know who he is? Nobody.
Okay.
And I know who he was. It's Kirill Petkov.
Okay.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
You need to know these, but they're in the EU.
I know, but I don't necessarily see them every day.
Does he look like a crook?
Unless
he looks
they're
like
having...
a crook, doesn't he? He looks a bit crooked.
Don't
look at that left
say
eye
that.
of his. Oh, look at this. You don't get more criminal than this.
Just because he has eye bags, you don't get criminal.
Look at him on the big screen. That says Who is he?
Not sure.
Anybody know who he is? It's Mario Draghi.
Okay.
Italian. Okay. Oh, you know him.
Oh, of course I know him.
Do you think? Can I
I've got a
ask you?
soft spot for him.
I thought so. He's handsome, isn't he?
He is handsome.
Anybody think he's handsome?
Wait.
Hang on. Have you noticed?
I noticed.
What a bit.
But he's got it longer than you. Not that I like it at all. He's better off without a beard, don't you think, girls and boys? Is he better off without a beard?
Yeah, but you still like him, don't you? Go a bit soft.
Listen, I like him, but I'm not sure I like all his politics. He hasn't been nice to the native Canadians, so I don't want to just praise him.
He needs spanking. Oh, I probably can't say that. I'm telling you. Anyway,
unless he likes it.
Oh, look at this one. Now that. Hey, this is a weird one. I can't believe I said to my guy, "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm certain. Do you know who this is? I'll tell you who it is.
Hi there.
This is.
You don't even know. You're
I
reading.
do. I just
You're
can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. This is Demil Schmehal.
Okay.
Dennis from the Ukraine.
From the
So
Ukraine?
yeah, that other guy, Slomensky, must
okay,
be the president,
And he's?
and this dude is the prime minister.
Okay.
But we never hear of him.
Okay.
How can we never hear him? Because
Maybe
you get
he's
that in
busy.
Russia. You don't hear of the prime minister, do you? You just hear Putin, Putin, whatever you call him.
Well, they've agreed who's going to go on TV.
Oh, they have.
Zelensky,
Oh,
I
so the
guess.
other guy stays silent, stays at home,
Yeah,
getting bombed.
No, I don't think
All right.
he stays at home.
What about this one? Do you
Anybody
think he's
stays
good?
at
He looks like an actor
He does.
to me.
Who's he?
Yeah, anybody know who this is? I can see a bit rusty on European politics here.
Yes,
on it.
we are.
This-
we are.
this
We're so
dude here.
obsessed with.
And I think
Kosovo.
he doesn't look. Does he look criminal? He could be in that TV program Suits.
With something
One of
like
those
that.
advertising.
Or these doctors programs. He looks like a doctor.
He looks very slick, doesn't he? Too slick, to be
Okay.
honest.
Who is he?
He is Pedro Sanchez of Spain.
Okay.
Spanish, they're
Then he
Spanish.
needs to recognize us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure about him. Dodgy or
I don't know.
But how does he
The
look?
country needs to.
because he looks too slick, to be honest. That's what's bothering me about him. Too slick.
I don't fall for the cover of just handsome.
I don't. I don't.
So
No, I don't.
next.
Next. Oh, I mean, he's got a big smile, right?
Yeah, he does.
But for me, dodgy. He's a crook. He's a happy crook.
How do you judge people by the looks?
Well, for me, he's got a
Alan.
few chins there. He's got
Yeah, I
about
mean,
3 or 4
one
chins.
could hire you as a researcher if you can
Well,
judge people by the looks.
Well, you know, it's a big show, this, and we put a lot of work into this. So we try. But look at that face. I mean, come on. He's got 2 chins, one there,
Yes.
one there, right?
Yeah.
It's just too false, that smile, for me.
Are
is
you
he? Who
calling
do
him
hang on, who
fat?
do we say again? Oh, you don't know who he is. He's Antonio Costa
Well,
from Portugal.
show me.
Dodgy. Dodgy.
I love the country though.
Do you like Portugal?
Beautiful
I hate it.
music.
No.
Oh, they've
No.
got absolutely
They
beautiful
can't cook.
music.
Do you know what? We were supposed to be doing some cooking. And I'm going to show you afterwards
That's
what
okay.
I prepared. It's a lot. Because I wanted to get into the cooking thing. Because when I said to you we might do some cooking, you said, oh, I'm going to bring this, I'm going to make that.
I thought
it's not like
that's
that.
the deal, that I'm going to bring a
No.
meal.
Do you know what disappoints me as well? Your kids didn't even want to come.
I know,
You got
but
abandoned by your own children.
they don't think we
Shame
are
on you.
interesting.
No,
You
we're
and
not.
me are not interesting company.
Anything over 16, you're not interesting at that age. Hey, we've got one more before we
Okay.
go. Don't go home yet.
No,
I'm
no,
finished.
no. I'm just
We've got one
making
more.
sure you don't take my.
How about that? That's as
Agabahiri
dodgy as you get.
t-shirt.
That's as dodgy as you get.
I know. This is Dodik, isn't he?
No, anybody know this dude?
Oh, Orban. Sorry.
Orban.
Orban.
That's the.
Mine.
That's
okay.
him. Orban. Now, do you know? I have some friends who live in Hungary.
Yeah.
They love him.
They
They-
love
and I think, well, are they
They
Nazis?
love him.
Yeah, are they Nazis for that? I don't know. But
Haven't you asked them? Why do they love him?
because
what
they,
do they
say, you know why? Because he's a nationalist.
Yes.
that's
and,
why they
and
like
you
him.
hang out with nationalists.
I can't help it. He works for us.
Okay.
It wasn't
Okay,
me.
just
And
in
I'm
case.
clean, by the way. We're clean at Chelsea Point. You know that? You can do some digging. But now we've reeled your tax
homes are
affairs on
beautiful.
here.
And you're doing Rita Ora's house. Come on, Rita
Well,
Ora
I
wouldn't
know.
hang out
I
with.
know. No, she's
Nobody was-
actually she's quite. I hope she doesn't hear this. I thought she was quite bossy. She
Good.
came here once to look at the house.
Why wouldn't she be bossy?
I-
She
you know, I'm
looks
gonna-
bossy.
I
She
tell you, I've
should be
got to
bossy.
admit
Bossy is good, Alan. Mean, queen of mean is not necessarily bad in with,
I
with,
get
with
an
us,
idea what
right,
you're like
girls?
at home.
Unless you're a bit bossy and mean, in Kosovo you don't get anywhere.
I don't think you've seen my book, have you? Sold
No, I
11,000 copies. It's all you lot laughed at me.
Let me
But,
see.
this is my book that I wrote.
Alan, you're a writer.
Yeah. What do you
Alan,
think of
are
that?
you sure you haven't just done this cover on the back of a printer somewhere? How to understand
How
women?
dare you?
Come on.
And I wrote
This
it in
is too
Albanian.
thick.
But look, it's volume 1.
How
So
to understand women. How dare you?
I've shown this before.
No. I've known you all this time.
no,
I've known you all this time.
It's all in Albanian as
You've
well.
never
so
told me you're a writer.
I
so-
don't brag. I don't like to brag. But listen, if you'd like to read that, should I send you a copy?
I understand women, Alan.
Yeah, I know you do.
So
One final question that I've done to ask
I
you.
understand even violent men, as I've shown you.
Don't look at me.
and
Do I look
deal
violent?
with them. But no, I'm just telling you, violent, non-violent.
You know, I just wanted to ask you, because I wanted to ask you at the beginning.
Yes.
I'm going to eat this while we're talking, because you might punch me. Right, I have to. Are you quite bossy at home with Alex? Are you the boss? Do you wear the trousers? Yes.
I'm bossy
Yes,
with the
yeah.
kids. Alex doesn't need bossing.
Oh, I can see you bossy with the kids. They didn't even want to come on tonight.
But they're bossy. They're getting bossy. They're getting very defensive and saying, "It's my body. I decide what I eat."
Teenagers.
No. They're quoting me their rights constantly.
Do you know what? Before you came on,
But I do encourage consent. I give them a choice of 2 or 3 things,
yeah, I
and
can
they
see
always 3 choices that are good for them.
are they?
And in the end, they choose.
And that's how you do it in your
yes,
household?
Democracy.
And with Alex?
You have to.
Or he gets no choice?
No, with Alex, I don't have to do anything.
No, you just tell him.
You've met him?
I met Alex.
It's not like he's confrontational.
Terrified.
One, he gets his way in a very quiet, calming way. He's always been the mature one, and I've learned from him. I
like the way you say that with your head on the side.
Yes.
Do you know, when I spoke to you a few days about a story, you said, Alan, I'm not really that funny. Well, I think you've been hysterical, and I think we could speak for hours, but we've run out of time. So next week, we'll see you then. A big thanks to Jeta Xharra.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you to you. And we'll see you next week. You know what? You know what? I think we can get started. Have it done already.